Can you imagine if that was my theme tune? You cannot walk into rooms doing that. Hello. Firstly, I am wearing a very dank meme on my jumper and I'm hoping it's not in shot. Secondly, I should have made this video in June. Let's all pretend this isn't the middle of July and I haven't just gone, that's the thing I should have done. Thank God I haven't got enough subscribers that anyone is going to care. Here we go. I read a lot and I like to keep a list of all the things that I have read. I don't really know why. It's just that I like lists, okay? I like lists. Here I have read 48 books. So I figured it would be quite interesting to me, at least, to go through and find my 10 favourites up until this point in the year and then tell you about it. Because a lot of you guys also like reading. So that's what's happening right now. Some of these books I read on Kindle and some of them are borrowed from the library, some of them I own. So the ones that I don't physically have to show you, I will put pictures in. Okay, let's go. Number 10 is My Life by David Jason. I kind of made a pact that I was going to read more non-fiction. So I've started reading a lot more biographies because they're kind of easy to come by and they're quite accessible. But I read David Jason's autobiography a couple of months ago and I jolly well loved it. David Jason is one of those actors that I've always just really liked. He reminds me of my granddad a little bit. And his autobiography was basically just really lovely. It was just him being like, oh well, you know, grew up in North London, was a bit of a scamp, decided to do the acting thing, kind of got lucky I guess, and it's just really nice. Like, he doesn't name drop and he doesn't talk about, like, he does mention like some negative things that happen but never in a kind of bitter or twisted way. It's just like, oh, this didn't work out but this did, and it was just really quite refreshing and really nice and he just came across as being a lovely old chap. Number 9, sticking with autobiography / memoir type books for the moment, is Wishful Drinking by Carrie Fisher. I still get weirdly emotional when I think about Carrie Fisher. I love her, my love for her is eternal, and I should have read her work much earlier, but at Christmas time, when we found out that she was gone, I found Wishful Drinking on my Kindle. It had been on there forever, and I thought, you know what? Now is as good a time as any. Wishful Drinking is funny, and it is sad, and it is bittersweet, and it is heartbreaking, and it is hilarious, and it is Carrie. It is so Carrie Fisher. It is just fabulous, and I loved every single word of it. Number 8, a YA book that I hired from the library, Unconventional by Maggie Harcourt. Now, Unconventional is basically nerd love, which is my favourite kind of love. And it's just very funny and it's very charming and it's very British, which I like. Basically, you've got a girl whose dad runs conventions like Comic-Con and stuff like that. She meets this author and she thinks he's a bit of a dick, and then she gets sent an advance copy of his book and doesn't realise it's the same person, but she reads the book and she falls in love with this guy, and then she discovers it was the dick from the year before at this con, and it's great. Number 7 is another autobiography and a book I've already featured on this channel before, and that is Tony Benn's Free at Last, which is his diaries from 91 to 2001. Out of all the autobiographies that I've read this year, and I've actually read 2 political biographies this year, I've read Tony Benn's and I've read Ed Balls, and out of the 2 of them, I enjoyed Tony Benn's the most. I feel like because it's in diary format, it's a bit more intimate. You feel like you kind of know him a bit more and how he was feeling, and it just feels a bit more genuine. Not that I'm saying Ed Balls wasn't genuine, but his was more like essays and they were more structured, whereas this is literally like, there'll be a line being like, hung out with Jeremy today, was fun, and then it'll move on to the next day. And I just found it really fascinating also to read about a period of history that I was alive for but didn't know an awful lot about. Number 6 is a book that came out this year, and I'm pretty sure I've also featured it on here before, and that is F. Scott Fitzgerald's I'd Die For You and Other Lost Stories. Now, this came out earlier this year, and it's basically a previously unpublished F. Scott Fitzgerald anthology. Look at the end papers in here. Beautiful. Number 5 is Big Little Lies by Leanne Moriarty. Fun fact, I have not seen the TV show of this book, but everyone and their cat has read it, and I wanted to be part of that party, and I was desperately searching for the cover that wasn't the TV show tie-in, and I couldn't find one. And then the lovely people over at Penguin sent me an email and were like, would you like to read this book? And they sent me the Kindle version, so I read it on the train when I went to Brighton. And it was just, The best way I can describe this book is that there's a review for it on Goodreads that literally says, this is the funniest book I've read about domestic violence and murder ever. And yeah, there is no better way to describe it than that sentence. In at number 4, a book I'm pretty sure I've already shown the internet, but I'm going to show them again, The Hamilton. This is Hamilton the Revolution. It's by Lin-Manuel Miranda and Jeremy McCarter, and it is basically the story of how Hamilton the show happened, and it's got some beautiful finishing. It's a big ass hardback book. It looks like a textbook. It's very beautiful, like, oh, look at Lynn and all the things. Basically, I love Hamilton the show. I adore this book. This book is great, and I feel like it will only complement my life even more when I actually get to see Hamilton next June. In at number 4, a book I hired from the library, and that is Nicola Yoon's The Sun Is Also a Star. This is a cute little YA book. It's set over the course of one night, and it basically features second-generation immigrants living in New York City. One of them's about to be deported, but they meet each other on the day of the deportation, and they have this, like, random but wonderful kind of adventure together around the streets of New York while they try and sort out this problem of one of them being deported. And it's just like, it plays with the idea of insta-love, which is a trope I hate, but I loved it in The Sun Is Also a Star. It was just good. It was really good. I like the way it was told. I like the characters. I like the story. In at number 2, we have Release by Patrick Ness. Patrick Ness is one of my all-time favourite authors of all time ever. I'm going to be at YALC in London next week. He is going to be there, and I'm going to fawn over him so much. I might even buy another copy of Release, because I have the Kindle edition, but I might buy, like, an edition there so that he can sign it for me, and then I can, like, hug it for the rest of time. How do I even describe this book? So Release is set over a course of one night. You've got a kid who has really conservative, really religious parents. He is not heterosexual. It's kind of a story of things ending and things beginning and kind of new chapters in your life, and it all kind of happens over the course of this one night, and it's just so beautiful. Finally, the best book that I've read so far this year is Strange the Dreamer by Laini Taylor. Dear God, I want to marry this book and raise a family of little books with it. So Strange the Dreamer is about a guy called Laszlo Strange, great name, who dreams a lot. He dreams all the time, and he kind of lives in his own head, and he becomes a librarian, and he ends up being part of a crew going to a lost city to solve a very bizarre problem. And it's just, this book is incredible. I have to give it back tomorrow, because it's from the library. I have to give it back. But I might have to buy it, because there's a sequel coming. And I need to know. I need to know more. There you go, those are my top 10 books of the year so far. Should have made this video in June, didn't. Pretend I did. It's all fine. You can go about your day now. Goodbye.